The air shimmered under the setting sun as Drin made his way across the open field. He wiped sweat from his forehead, muttering to himself about how Earth was way too humid for comfort. Above him, the massive silver ship hovered silently, hidden behind clouds. Today was supposed to be a peaceful day. A simple supply run, check on the local humans, and return to base. But fate had a different plan. A sudden sound, like a soft whimper, caught his attention. Drin turned and saw her, an alien girl crouching near a fallen tree. She wasn't human. Her skin shimmered faintly like the surface of a pearl, and her eyes were large, glowing softly like twin moons. Her name was Vela, he would later learn. She wore a simple robe, and in her slender hands she cradled something. A human boy, no older than 10, who seemed unconscious. Panic filled her eyes as she spotted Drin. "Help, please," she pleaded, her voice trembling. Drin hurried over, kneeling beside her. He quickly checked the boy's pulse. Alive, but weak. "What happened?" Drin asked, his tone soft. Vela's fingers brushed the boy's forehead. "He fell. There was a snake. I tried to heal, but—" She looked down, shame flickering across her face. Drin offered a kind smile. "You did good bringing him here." She blinked, surprised by his gentle words. Her people were not used to kindness from humans, or anyone. As Drin lifted the boy, he noticed Vela's hands trembling. Not from fear, but something else. She was injured too. A small cut on her arm oozed a shimmering blue liquid. "You're hurt," Drin said. She shook her head quickly. "I heal fast." Still, worry gnawed at him. Without thinking, Drin took her hand in his, inspecting the wound carefully. Vela's breath hitched. For a long second, they just stared at each other, human and alien, strangers, yet somehow not. Vela's skin was soft and strangely warm against Drin's calloused fingers. He realized he was holding her hand longer than needed, but she made no move to pull away. Her wide eyes studied his face, curious and shy all at once. "We need to get you both somewhere safe," Drin said, voice low. Vela nodded, her silver hair brushing her cheeks. Carefully, he guided her and the boy back toward his small outpost at the edge of the woods. It wasn't much, just a converted shed with some supplies and a communicator, but it would do for now. Inside, Drin placed the boy on a cot and checked. Him again. His breathing was steadier. Relief washed over him. Vela stood awkwardly near the door, shifting from foot to foot. She looked at the strange equipment on the walls, her curiosity battling her nervousness. "You're safe here," Drin said, giving her a smile. Vela's lips curved slightly in return, like she was trying to learn the motion. It made Drin's chest feel warm. He found a clean cloth and turned to her. "Let me clean that cut." Her eyes widened a little, but she nodded. When he approached, she lifted her arm carefully. As Drin dabbed the cloth along the blue liquid, Vela hissed softly, her body tensing. "Sorry," he said quickly. "I'm trying to be gentle." "It's not pain," she whispered, cheeks darkening with a faint blush. Drin paused, cloth in hand. For a moment, the world seemed to slow. Her breath was shaky, her gaze locked on his face with an intensity that made his heart beat faster. Then he noticed it. Near the edge of her arm, the skin had swelled slightly, like something just under the surface was pushing up. It pulsed faintly. Drin frowned. "It's swollen. Should I touch it?" he asked softly, uncertain. Vela looked at him with an expression full of hesitation and something else. Something warmer. She gave the faintest nod, her silver lashes fluttering. Hand trembling just slightly, Drin brushed his fingers over the swollen spot. Vela let out a tiny gasp, a sound so pure and unexpected that Drin nearly forgot how to breathe. The moment Drin's fingers touched the swollen spot, A soft glow spread under Vela's skin. It pulsed warmly, traveling up her arm and across her chest. She closed her eyes, her breath quickening, as if struggling to contain something building inside her. Drin pulled back quickly, worried he had hurt her. Did I do something wrong? Vela opened her eyes, and they shimmered with a strange, tender light. She shook her head. No, it's part of healing. Your touch, it helps. Drin blinked, unsure if he heard her right. His touch helped her? Before he could question more, the boy on the cot stirred. Both of them turned, watching with hope as the boy mumbled and slowly opened his eyes. Relief poured through Drin like a wave. Vela's face lit up, her smile pure and dazzling. He will be fine, she whispered. Drin knelt beside the boy, giving him some water and checking him carefully. As he worked, Vela moved closer, silently watching. Her presence was calming, like a soft blanket wrapping around him. When the boy drifted back into a peaceful sleep, Drin finally allowed himself to breathe. He turned to Vela, studying her under the low light. Her silver hair tumbled down her back in soft waves. Her skin still shimmered faintly, and the blush had not completely left her cheeks. "You're amazing," Drin said before he could stop himself. Vela tilted her head, confusion flickering in her gaze. "Amazing?" he chuckled softly. "It means wonderful, special." A slow, beautiful smile spread across her lips. She took a cautious step closer to him. "You are amazing too, Drin," she said, voice trembling slightly but honest. The way she said his name, so careful and tender, made something tighten in his chest. The moment between them stretched and deepened, full of unspoken words. Then, without warning, Vela reached out and touched his hand. Her fingers were cool and light at first, but soon they curled around his. Drin swallowed hard, his heart thudding against his ribs. She looked at him, her voice soft like a whispered dream. "May I stay close to you?" For a second, Drin couldn't speak. He just nodded, squeezing her hand gently. Outside, the wind stirred the trees, but inside that tiny outpost, a new bond was forming. One delicate, fragile, and full of a warmth that neither had ever known before. Night fell quietly around the small outpost. The stars blinked awake, covering the sky with endless lights. Drin sat by the cot, keeping watch over the sleeping boy. Vela sat close beside him, their shoulders brushing every so often, sending tiny sparks through Drin's skin. Neither spoke much. They didn't need to. After a while, Vela shifted closer, her soft hair brushing his arm. She looked up at him with wide, glowing eyes. "Your world is beautiful," she whispered. Drin smiled at her, feeling that strange warmth inside him grow. "It's even more beautiful now." Vela blushed again, her skin glowing faintly. She lowered her gaze, clearly not used to such words. Drin found it incredibly endearing. He wanted to make her feel safe, wanted her to smile like that again and again. Suddenly, she placed her hand on his chest, right over his heart. Drin froze, surprised by the gentle touch. Her fingers were curious, almost innocent, as they felt the strong thumping beneath his ribs. "This," she said softly. "This sound, I like it." Drin covered her hand with his own, feeling the delicate strength in her slender fingers. "It's my heart," he said quietly. "It beats because I'm alive. And right now, because you're here." Vela's eyes widened, shimmering even brighter. She opened her mouth as if to speak, but hesitated. Instead, she leaned in a little closer, drawn by something she didn't fully understand yet could not resist. Her presence was overwhelming in the softest, sweetest way. Drin could smell the faint scent of her, like fresh rain and something sweet he couldn't name. It made his head spin. Vela's other hand rose hesitantly, fingers brushing against his jawline. Her touch was feather-light, exploring, learning. Your skin is warm, she said, almost in wonder. Drin chuckled under his breath. So is yours. Her lips parted in a soft breath, and she gazed at him like he was something rare and precious. For a wild moment, Drin thought she might kiss him. Instead, she pressed her forehead gently against his. The contact was tender, almost sacred. Drin closed his eyes, feeling her thoughts and emotions pouring into him like a warm river. Trust, curiosity, a strange, beautiful longing. Neither of them moved for a long time. They just stayed like that, forehead to forehead, sharing something deeper than words. Outside, the world turned quietly under the stars, but inside, something timeless had begun to grow between a human and an alien girl, something neither of them would ever be able to forget. The next morning came with a gentle golden light slipping through the cracks of the outpost walls. Drin stirred awake, feeling a soft weight against him. Vela had fallen asleep beside him, her head resting lightly against his shoulder. Her breathing was slow and peaceful, a small smile playing on her lips. Drin stayed still, not wanting to disturb her. He simply watched her, memorizing every detail, the way her silver hair caught the morning light, the way her fingers curled slightly like she was dreaming. He had never seen anything so beautiful. The boy on the cot stirred awake too, letting out a soft noise. Drin smiled and carefully shifted to check on him without waking Vela. The boy's fever had broken. His skin looked healthier now, and his eyes, when they opened, were clearer. "You're safe now," Drin said softly, offering him a cup of water. The boy took it with both hands, drinking greedily. Behind him, Vela woke up with a sleepy murmur. She sat up slowly, blinking like she was trying to remember where she was. When her eyes met Drin's, her smile bloomed again, sweet and full of trust. "Thank you," she whispered. Drin shook his head, smiling back. "You're the one who saved him." Vela's cheeks turned a soft shade of blue, her species version of a blush. She looked down at her hands shyly, her silver lashes brushing her cheeks. There was a long, comfortable silence between them. Finally, Vela spoke, her voice trembling with hope and fear. "Will you allow me to stay with you?" Drin's chest tightened at the fragile question. He didn't even hesitate. "I would be honored," he said, voice low and sure. Vela's face lit up with a pure, unguarded joy. She leaned forward suddenly, wrapping her arms around him in a clumsy, heartfelt hug. Drin froze for a second, then wrapped his arms around her too, holding her close. Her small body fit perfectly against his, like two pieces of something that had always been meant to find each other. She pulled back slightly to look up at him, her eyes shining. "Drin, can I touch it again?" she asked, her voice soft and innocent. For a second, Drin blinked in confusion, then realized she was looking at his chest, where she had felt his heart beating the night before. He chuckled warmly, lifting her hand and placing it gently against his chest. Vela smiled, closing her eyes as she felt his heartbeat again, steady and strong under her palm. "Your heart," she whispered. "It's beautiful." Drin rested his forehead against hers again, smiling. As he whispered back, "So is yours." The bond between them tightened, an invisible thread weaving two worlds together. And as the sun climbed higher into the sky, bathing the little outpost in soft golden light, Drin knew deep in his heart that he had found something rare, something more precious than anything else on this earth. He had found her, and he would never let her go.